You ever notice how life waits until you're old enough to think you've seen everything before it throws you the kind of blow that knocks the breath out of you? Because that's exactly what I'm thinking as I stand here at 61, speaking to you, wondering how a woman like me ends up hiding a pregnancy in silence while the world watches her break. And before you judge, before you assume anything, I want you to stay with me. Because every single twist in this story is connected to a betrayal so cold it could freeze the sun. So before we go deeper, tell me, where are you joining us from, and what time is it where you are? I ask because you're going to want to remember the moment you heard what comes next. You see, people think old women are fragile. They think wrinkles mean weakness and age means surrender. But they forget something. They forget that the older you get, the more you've survived, and the more dangerous it becomes to underestimate you. That's what everyone did to me. My ex-husband, my children, my in-laws, the entire town. And that's exactly how I ended up holding secrets sharp enough to cut. It begins the day my husband leaves me. Or should I say, the day he throws me out of the life I built for him. I wake up that morning thinking it's an ordinary day. Breakfast, laundry, watering the plants. Small rituals that keep you anchored when the world outside grows violent. I don't feel pregnant. I don't suspect anything. I am just Guji, a woman who stayed loyal beyond reason, who believed love could weather anything, who hasn't yet learned that loyalty means nothing to people who only show affection when it benefits them. Christian, my now ex-husband, walks into the kitchen with a smile so calm it should have warned me. Because only dangerous people smile like that before they strike. He doesn't look like a man who has been cheating. He doesn't look like a man who's about to destroy decades of marriage. He looks like someone who's already made peace with the damage he's about to cause. He clears his throat, staring at me like I'm something he already scraped off his shoes. I think we need to talk. Funny how those 5 words are enough to split a world open. I look at him, feeling something tighten in my chest. About what? His jaw flexes, irritation flickering in his eyes because I didn't magically read his mind. About us, Guji. About the fact that this marriage isn't working anymore. About the fact that I'm done pretending. The room falls silent. Even the wind outside feels like it's holding its breath, waiting. I swallow. Pretending what? He sighs hard, like my confusion is an inconvenience. Pretending that we're happy. Pretending that you're not. Too much work. Too much work. The words hit me like a slap. I open my mouth to speak, but he holds up his hand. No. Don't make this messy. I'm moving out today. I already packed. Already packed. Already decided. Already chosen someone else. Because of course he did. Men like him never jump without a mattress ready to catch them. And little do I know that mattress is a woman 23 years younger, with bright red hair and the kind of confidence that comes from knowing she can take anything she wants, especially someone else's husband. I stand frozen as he marches out, leaving silence thick enough to choke on. The door slams. His car drives away. And I am left in a house suddenly too big for one woman and too small for all the pain he just dumped inside it. Hours pass. Maybe minutes. I can't tell. The world becomes blurry, soundless, unreal. My chest feels heavy. My hands shake. My vision darkens at the edges. I assume it's heartbreak. Stress. Shock. What else could it be? I don't know yet that my body is trying to communicate something far more urgent. I don't know yet that a life is already forming inside me. Later that night, when I finally gather enough strength to stand, I grab my coat and walk outside, needing air. Needing to escape the ghosts clawing at the walls of that house. I walk until my legs ache, until the cold bites through my sleeves. And still. I keep walking, because moving is the only thing keeping me from collapsing. When I return home, there's a message on my phone. From my daughter, Rose. It's short. Sharp. A blade disguised as a sentence. Dad told us what you did. Don't contact me. What I did. What I did. Funny how liars always run faster than truth. I call her. No answered. I text my son. Same result. My children, my own flesh, cut me off in seconds, without even asking for my side. That night, I drop to the floor and curl up, because when your husband betrays you and your children believe him, loneliness becomes a creature with teeth. But here's where the story begins to change. Here's where the universe whispers that nothing is what it seems. 2 days later, I faint in the kitchen. I wake up on the cold tiles, confused, sweating, dizzy. My first thought is, maybe it's the stress. Maybe it's dehydration. Maybe it's the grief. But something deeper inside me says, no, Guji, something else is happening. Something bigger. I drive myself to a small clinic on the edge of town, the one where no one goes because it's old and outdated, and therefore perfect for a woman who doesn't want to be seen. The nurse takes my blood pressure, my temperature, my pulse, and she frowns a little too long at the results. Then the doctor walks in, holding a chart so quietly I almost miss the way his eyebrows rise. Guji, he says softly, I need you to sit down. My heart stutters. What's wrong with me? He hesitates, choosing his words carefully. You're pregnant. The world explodes into noise, a ringing so loud it drowns out everything else. I laugh. A broken, startled, disbelieving sound. That's impossible. I'm 61. He nods. I know. But the test is positive. It's extremely rare, but not impossible. Pregnant. Pregnant at 61. Pregnant right after my husband leaves me. Pregnant while my children think I destroyed the marriage. It feels surreal. Impossible. Absurd. And yet, it's real. I walk out of that clinic holding a secret so heavy it feels like it might crush me. My hands tremble on the steering wheel. My heart wants to leap out of my chest. Fear floods me, but so does something else. Something warm. Something fierce. A child. A new life. A second chance, maybe. But as I sit in the car, staring at nothing, a thought creeps in like smoke. If I tell anyone, if the town finds out, if my ex-husband learns, if his young mistress discovers, what then? Will they say it isn't his? Will they call me desperate? Will they laugh at an old woman having a baby? Will they take something from me again? I feel the answer deep in my bones. Yes. Yes to all of it. People like them feed on vulnerability. They drink it like water. And I am already drowning. So I make a choice that will change everything, a choice that will turn me from victim to something far more dangerous. I decide I will tell no one, not my children, not yet. Not my friends, not that I have many left after the divorce. Not the neighbors who whisper whenever I walk by. And definitely not the man who destroyed my life. This child will be mine, why secret, why strength, why quiet revenge. Because there is nothing more unsettling than a woman who stops begging and starts planning. Weeks pass. The pregnancy grows slowly, quietly, hidden beneath oversized sweaters and the thick armor of my silence. I avoid everyone. I shop at night. I keep my curtains closed. I move like a ghost through the town, unseen, unheard, forgotten. And yet, I am more alive than I've felt in years. Every kick, every flutter, every moment of nausea becomes a reminder. I am not done, I am not finished, I am still capable of miracles. But secrets have weight. They press down. They demand. They pull at the edges of your life until something rips. At 5 months, I can no longer hide it. Not completely. I hold grocery bags in front of my belly when someone walks by. I stay home when the mailman comes. I avoid old friends, because they know my body better than anyone. They'd see the truth instantly. But the worst part is the growing suspicion that someone is watching me. It starts with small things, a car parked too long across the street, shadow moving behind my fence, footsteps outside my window at strange hours, phone calls where no one speaks. At first, I dismiss it. I think it's anxiety, paranoia, a symptom of the isolation I buried myself in. But the uneasy feeling grows stronger. It wraps around me like cold fingers. And then it happens. One evening, as I'm locking my front door, I see her, Christian's mistress, standing at the edge of my yard. her red hair glowing like a warning, her lips pulled into a smirk dripping with cruelty, her eyes scanning my body top to bottom, hunting for weakness. "Hello, Guji," she says, voice sweet as poison. "Mind if we talk?" I freeze, one hand over my growing belly, hidden beneath my coat. I don't answer, I don't move, I'm simply waiting, calculating, wondering who told her where I live. And then she tilts her head and delivers a sentence that makes my blood turn to ice. "I know your little secret." Those 5 words strike harder than any betrayal, harder than any divorce, harder than any lonely night spent wondering why I wasn't enough. She knows. She knows. She knows. But what she thinks she knows, and what she actually knows, are 2 very different things. She steps closer, lowering her voice. "Let's just say Christian and I have been keeping an eye on you. And we're curious. Who's the father?" And that's when I understand something terrifying. They think the baby isn't Christian's. And they are very, very wrong. And suddenly the fear inside me ignites into something sharper, hotter, more powerful. A beginning. A spark. The first step toward a revenge so cold it will silence every voice that tried to speak over mine. I look her dead in the eyes, calm and steady, because something inside me shifts. If they want war, they have no idea who they're dealing with. And just as I open my mouth to answer her, to unleash the first piece of a plan that has been quietly forming inside me, she leans closer and whispers, "Don't worry. Soon everyone will know what you're hiding." She walks away, swinging her hips, confident, smug, satisfied. But I stand there, holding my belly, feeling my child kick for the first time. A message, a warning, a promise. Because she doesn't realize she just ignited something inside me. Something unstoppable. Something ruthless. And as the cold air wraps around me, one single thought rises louder than everything else. "You want secrets? Fine. Let's play. But remember, I always finish what I start." The night swallows her silhouette as she walks away, and I stand there frozen, feeling the cold through my bones but something hotter building beneath my skin. Her words echo in my ears like a threat scratched into glass. "Soon everyone will know what you're hiding." That sentence becomes a storm inside me. I lock my door, close every curtain, and move slowly through my house like I'm walking through the aftermath of an earthquake. My breath is uneven. My heart beats too fast. The silence feels alive, too alive, and every shadow in the room feels like it's holding its breath with me. Because nothing is more dangerous than someone who knows something, or thinks they do. I sit in my kitchen, hands trembling, staring at a cup of tea I can't bring myself to drink. My mind races. How long has she been watching me? How much does she know? Did she see me at the clinic? Did she follow me? Did she hear something from town gossip? Or worse, did Christian send her? The thought makes my stomach tighten, not from fear, but from fury. Fury so sharp it feels like a blade pressed against my ribs. I'm not stupid. A woman with red hair and a cruel smile doesn't follow someone unless she has something to gain. So what could she gain from exposing me? From announcing to the world that I'm pregnant at 61? Then it hits me, hard. If she convinces everyone the baby isn't Christian's, she wins. She becomes the innocent one, the victim of my infidelity. My children would hate me more. The town would mock me. Christian could paint himself as the betrayed husband who escaped a lying wife. It's a perfect plan. And I won't let them execute it. 3 hours later, I'm still awake, pacing, legs aching, mind spiraling. The clock ticks, relentless, marking every second I lose control. And then, tiny and soft, there's a flutter inside me. A reminder. I'm not alone, I'm not powerless. This child inside me gives me strength I didn't know I had. I place my hand gently on my belly, feeling the warmth beneath my palm. Something protective rises in me, heavy, fierce, ancient. The kind of strength only a mother can summon. The kind of strength that rebuilds worlds after men burn them down. I whisper to the child, "They won't hurt you. Or me. I promise. The next morning, I wake with a clarity so sharp it feels like a blade. It's time to stop reacting and start planning. They want to expose me? Fine. But it will be on my terms, not theirs. My first step is simple. Find out what they know. Because information is the most powerful weapon in any war. I begin by cleaning the house, slowly, carefully, because anger feels easier to manage when your hands are busy. But my mind is miles away, analyzing every detail, every possibility. As I sweep under the sofa, something glints beneath it. A phone. Not mine. With trembling hands, I pull it out. It's small, black, cheap, and definitely not something I own. I turn it over, dread curling inside me. There's a bright red sticker on the back shaped like a tiny flame. I know exactly who uses stickers like that. Christian's mistress. My pulse spikes. She left this in my house, intentionally or not. But either way, it means one thing. She was inside. Inside my home. Inside my safest place. Inside my world. That realization cracks something open inside me. I close my eyes, breathe slowly, and force myself not to panic. Instead, I flip the phone over and press the power button. It turns on instantly. No password. No lock. Just a list of audio files. My breath catches. My fingers shake. I press 1. Static. Then footsteps. Then my own voice, faint in the background, humming in the kitchen. She recorded me. She's been recording me inside my home. My stomach twists. My child kicks. Fear and rage crash together in my chest like lightning. Another file. This one is clearer. It's me calling the clinic to confirm my follow-up appointment. My voice is steady, unaware, innocent. But hers. I hear her whispered laughter at the end of the recording. She knew. She knew before she even approached me. I sit down slowly, gripping the table. My hands curl into fists. No tears fall. Not anymore. I have gone beyond crying. I've entered a new territory. A battlefield. She wants to expose me. She wants to humiliate me. She wants to destroy me. She doesn't realize she just handed me the weapon I needed. I turn off the phone and place it gently on the table, almost tenderly, the way someone might hold a venomous snake before deciding where to throw it. There is power here, raw, dangerous power, and I intend to use it. I take a slow breath. Then another. A plan begins to form. Not a loud plan. Not a reckless plan. A quiet one. A patient one. The kind of plan only a woman who has lost everything can build. My next step is to gather information. If I'm being watched, then I need to know who else is involved. So that afternoon, I drive into town wearing my largest coat and darkest sunglasses. It's not to hide my belly, it's to hide the fire in my eyes. I go to the small bakery where people gossip louder than the radio. The moment I walk in, conversations shift. Eyes flicker toward me. Whispers thread through the air like spiders spinning webs. She looks terrible. Her husband left. He moved in with that redhead. Poor thing. I heard she's sick. 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 Funny. Not one of them guesses the truth. I buy a single croissant and walk slowly, pretending not to hear. But I'm listening. I'm always listening. At the corner table, two women whisper louder than they think. Did you hear? Christian's new girlfriend said Gucci is hiding something. Hiding what? She wouldn't say. But apparently it's huge. Huge. The word stings. Not because it's true, but because they said it with delight. My child moves inside me, pressing against my ribs like a reminder. Don't break. Not here. Not where they can see. I leave the bakery without looking back and drive home. But when I pull into my driveway, my heart stops. Someone is standing on my porch. My son. I grip the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles ache. He looks older than I remember. tired, angry. And when our eyes meet, he doesn't smile. He doesn't look relieved. He looks disappointed. He walks toward my car. I open the door slowly. His jaw tightens. His eyes are cold. "Mom," he says sharply. "We need to talk." I step out, careful to keep my coat closed over my belly. "What is it?" "You know what it is." He shakes his head. "Dad told me everything." "And now?" He hesitates. Something flickers in his eyes. Confusion? Suspicion? Hope. "Now Rose says you're hiding something from us." Of course she does. Christian and his mistress would never stop at one child. They would poison both. "What am I hiding?" I ask gently. He looks at me for a long time. Too long. My heart races. He can't see, not yet. I shift slightly, keeping my coat firmly in place. "Mom, are you sick?" Sick? They all think I'm sick. I should feel relief. But I feel anger instead. Anger at the people who abandoned me. Anger at the lies told in my name. Anger at the son who didn't even ask me for the truth before condemning me. But beneath the anger is love. Love for a boy I raised. Love for the child inside me who deserves better. "No," I say softly. "I'm not sick." He studies me, unsure. I can tell he wants to believe me, but the poison runs deep. "Then why is Dad saying you cheated on him?" The air turns colder. My pulse slows. My vision sharpens. "So that's what he told you." He nods, jaw clenched. "He said you were distant. That you changed. That you made him feel unwanted. And then he found messages. Messages. Fabricated ones, probably. Sent from a burner phone. Left in places I'd never think to search." I swallow hard. "And you believed him?" His silence is answer enough. My heart aches and my child kicks, as if sensing the tension is shift, pretending it's discomfort, not life. He sighs heavily. "Look, I didn't come here to fight. I came because Rose says there's more to this. She said she heard something. Something that scared her." I freeze. What did she hear? She wouldn't say. Just that we should come check on you. The irony nearly knocks me over. They care now. After choosing strangers over their own mother? After slicing me open with their silence? But I don't say any of that. Because the time isn't right. Not yet. I force a smile. "I'm fine." I lie gently. "Tell Rose I'm fine." He looks doubtful. "Mom, I want to believe you. But something's wrong. I can feel it." For a heartbeat, I almost tell him. Almost lower my guard. Almost let the truth spill out and wash away the lies. But then I remember the phone found under my sofa. The recordings. The threats. The red-headed woman promising to expose me. No. I can't trust anyone. Not yet. Not until the time is right. "I just need rest," I say. "That's all." He nods slowly. But as he turns to leave, he pauses, then steps forward and hugs me. I stiffen. Because the pressure of his arm bumps against my coat. Against my belly. Against the secret I've protected with everything I have. He pulls back sharply, eyes narrowing. "What was that?" My blood turns to ice. What was what? That. He gestures toward my stomach. Something moved. I swallow. Hard. It was nothing. I need to sit down. But he doesn't move. He stares, he watches, he waits. And then, like fate mocking me, the baby kicks again. Right where his eyes are. He freezes, I freeze. The world freezes. His voice is barely a whisper. "Mom. What was that?" My lungs tighten. My heart races. My mind screams. The secret inside me trembles, exposed. I open my mouth, desperate to say something. Anything. But then a car pulls into my driveway. A red car. Her car. Christian's mistress steps out, smiling wickedly, holding a phone in her hand. And with one slow, deliberate movement, she raises it and snaps a photo of us. My son turns toward her. His face drains of color. And I know, everything is about to explode. I sit in the passenger seat of the car, staring out the window as the city lights blur past. My grandson drives like he's escaping a burning building, though the only fire is the one inside his chest. I can feel it from here, that anger, that wounded pride, and beneath it, the guilt he hasn't admitted yet. I say nothing. Silence can slice deeper than words, and right now, the quiet between us is a surgeon's blade. Finally, he exhales, shaky and irritated. Grandma, can we just forget what happened? Forget. He wants me to erase the way he spoke to me. The way he mocked the breakfast I made for him with hands that still ache from arthritis. The broken plate. The broken respect? I turn my head slowly toward him. Are you ready to forget it? He grips the steering wheel tighter. I said something stupid. I don't know. I was just tired. You weren't tired, I reply calmly. You were entitled. He flinches like my words slap him harder than I ever could. He doesn't answer. The car rolls to a stop at a red light. I watch the reflection of his face in the glass. Jaw clenched, eyes troubled, brows low as if the weight of the world presses them. Grandma, he mutters, voice barely above a whisper. Why do you always assume the worst? I don't, I say. You show it to me. The light turns green. He accelerates, a bit faster than necessary. I know he's half wishing I'd just yell at him. Anger would be easier for him. Anger would give him something to push back against, something to use as an excuse. But calm forces him to face himself. And right now, self-reflection is his biggest enemy. As we pull into the shopping center parking lot, he parks far from the entrance, a habit he picked up from his father, who believed legs were meant for walking, not laziness. I almost smile. Almost. But he rushes out of the car like the distance is his punishment, dramatically yanking the door open for me. Can we just go in? He mutters. Of course, I respond, stepping out with a small nod. We walk side by side in awkward silence until we reach the automatic doors. The cool air of the store blasts out at us, carrying the scent of fresh produce and cheap plastic packaging. He grabs a cart, pushing it forward with unnecessary force, wheels squeaking in protest. A woman nearby glances at us, eyebrows raised. I offer her a polite smile. He doesn't notice her at all. We move through the aisles, frozen dinners, cereal, bread, canned soup, and every time I reach for something, he steps in, snatching it first as if trying to earn invisible redemption points. He grunts. I got it. You don't need to carry everything, I tell him gently. He stops, looks down at the cart, and suddenly sighs like the weight of the world is inside it. Grandma, why are you always so calm when I mess up? Because someone has to be. But instead I say, I'm not calm. I'm disappointed. His face crumbles a little, not enough for strangers to notice, but enough for a grandmother to see. We continue browsing until I hear a small voice behind us. Excuse me, ma'am. Do you need help reaching that? A grocery store employee, a teenager with a friendly smile, points at the top shelf where I'm stretching. He grabs the box for me gently and places it in my hands. Thank you, sweetheart, I say warmly. My grandson watches the interaction silently, but his posture shifts, guilt rolling off him like heat. The kid leaves, my grandson looks away. We continue moving until we reach the checkout. I'm placing items on the conveyor belt when he suddenly stops, staring at the candy rack. His face goes blank. Not because of the candy, but because of a memory. Him at age 7, tugging at my sleeve. Grandma, can I have chocolate? Of course I'd say yes. Of course I'd buy him anything he wanted. Of course I spoiled him. His breathing changes, he's remembering too. He quickly turns away, helping load the groceries with more care this time. When everything is scanned, the cashier tells us the total. I reach for my wallet, but he places his hand on mine, gently but firmly. I'll pay, he says. I look up at him. Are you sure? He nods. I should. Not, I want to. Not, I'd love to. I should. It's obligation, not affection. Duty, not desire. But I say nothing. When we exit the store, he carries all the bags, refusing to let me touch even one. He loads everything into the trunk and closes it gently, not slamming it like he usually does. The mask is slipping. His regret is spilling through the cracks. But I'm not rushing this lesson. Sometimes the slow burn teaches deeper than the flame. We get back in the car. He puts both hands on the steering wheel, head bowed slightly. Grandma, I want to talk about earlier. I'm listening. It's just, I wasn't trying to be mean. I didn't think it would hurt you like that. Words always have weight, I reply. You just dropped yours without caring who they hit. He winces. I know I did. But I've been stressed and... I cut him off softly. Stress doesn't give you permission to disrespect the people who love you. You don't bleed on the ones who didn't cut you. His eyes widen. His throat tightens. His chest rises in a long, shaky inhale. He turns the key, but doesn't start the engine. Instead, he whispers, I'm sorry. The words tremble, soft, fragile, half-formed. I almost pity him. Almost. But apologies without understanding are as empty as cracked teacups. They hold nothing inside. I open my mouth to respond when suddenly, his phone buzzes. Twice. Then again. Then a fourth time. He glances down. The color drains from his face. I blink. Curiosity prickles my skin. He snatches the phone up, turning his body slightly away from me. His thumbs fly across the screen. Typing, deleting, typing again. His jaw clenches. His ears turn red. I pretend to look out the window. But I see everything in the reflection. His panic. His guilt. His shame. He locks the phone quickly, shoves it into his hoodie pocket, and forces a weak smile. Spam message, he lies. Once again. My grandson thinks I'm old enough to be fooled but not old enough to be respected. I turn my head slowly toward him. Spam? Is that why your hands are shaking? He stiffens. Caught. Grandma, he mutters. Please don't. Don't what? His eyes drop to his lap, shame crawling across his skin. Don't look at me like you already know. But I do know. Because a grandmother's eyes don't fade with age. They sharpen. Who was it? I ask quietly. He doesn't answer. His fingers curl around the steering wheel, knuckles turning white. His breathing grows shallow, uneven. And then, the phone buzzes again. Once, twice, 3 times. His entire body tenses like a pulled bowstring. Answer it, I say softly. I can't, he whispers. Why not? Because it'll make everything worse. And there it is. The truth. Whatever is happening, whatever he's hiding, whatever message he just got, it's connected to the cruelty he threw at me earlier. I feel I in my bones, I in my intuition, I in the stillness between heartbeats. Start the car, I instruct. He hesitates, but obeys. As we drive home, he grips the wheel so tight I worry it might crack. The closer we get to the house, the more nervous he becomes. His leg bounces. He swallows hard. He wipes his palms against his jeans. He's unraveling. Good. Lessons don't sink in unless the heart is raw. When we pull into the driveway, he turns off the engine but doesn't move. The moment stretches like a silent string between us. Grandma, he says finally, voice barely audible. I think you're going to be mad. I'm already mad, I say. What I want to know is why. He looks down, shoulders trembling ever so slightly. I wait. Finally, slowly, painfully, he pulls out his phone. He unlocks it with a sigh that sounds like surrender. He hands it to me. Don't hate me, he whispers. I take the phone. On the screen is a message thread. Dozens of messages from a group chat labeled, "The Boys. No filter." At the top, pinned by someone, is a single image of me in the kitchen, making breakfast. My hair messy, my back hunched slightly, my apron crooked. And the caption written above the picture? "Look what I woke up to. Who even eats this peasant food?" My breath stops. My heart clenches. My grandson, my own flesh and blood, mocked me to his friends, photographed me without consent, ridiculed the breakfast I made lovingly for him, laughed at me publicly. But it's the comments that twist the knife. "Bro, she looks like she crawled out of bed in 1940. Why's she cooking like a slave? Get her a retirement home." "Lamaru, is she even alive, or is that an NPC? If my grandma served me that, I'd break the plate too." The world tilts. The worst part. My grandson heart reacted one of them. My hands don't shake, my breathing doesn't falter, my eyes don't water. No. I go very, very still. The kind of stillness that comes right before a storm wipes out an entire coast. He watches my face, panic rising. "Grandma. I didn't mean it, I swear. They were just joking. I didn't know they'd. You took the picture." He swallows hard. Yeah. But I didn't think. You posted it. I didn't mean it like that. You laughed at their insults." His voice cracks. "Grandma, please." I look him dead in the eyes. "You didn't break my plate," I say quietly. "You broke my dignity." He shudders, physically shudders, like the truth slices straight through him. And then he breaks down. Right there in the car. Hands over his face. Shoulders shaking. Tears dripping onto his jeans. "I'm sorry," he sobs. "Grandma, I'm so sorry. I didn't think. I was being stupid. I was showing off. I didn't mean to hurt you. Please don't leave me. Please don't be disappointed. I'll do anything. Anything." I watch him cry. Not out of cruelty, but out of clarity. Because this moment of collapse, is the first step toward understanding the weight of his actions. When he finally quiets down, sniffling and wiping his eyes with his sleeve, he whispers, "What are you going to do?" I open the car door slowly. I step out. Then I look back at him, the boy I raised, the boy I loved, the boy who forgot that love isn't a servant, a punchline, or a disposable convenience. "I'm going to teach you," I say. His breath catches. "Teach me what?" I lean down, eyes sharp as glass. That the internet isn't the only place where consequences go viral. I close the door and walk toward the house. Behind me, I hear his terrified whisper, "Grandma." But I don't turn around. Revenge has already started. The moment I walk into the house, the familiar smell of cinnamon and old wood wraps around me. Normally this scent comforts me. Tonight, it feels like the house itself is holding its breath. I set my purse down on the table, I take off my cardigan, I hang it on the hook. Every movement deliberate, controlled, measured. Behind me, I hear the soft slam of the car door and hurried footsteps on the pavement. "Grandma," my grandson calls out, voice cracking like a teenage boy instead of the grown one he pretends to be. "Grandma, please, just wait." I don't turn around. Not yet. Let him stew. Let him feel the weight of my silence. Let him taste the consequences he served himself. He rushes through the front door, breathless, eyes red, cheeks still wet from crying. He looks like a boy who just realized the monster in the dark was his own reflection. "Grandma," he says again, softer this time, "please don't walk away from me." I finally lift my eyes. "I didn't walk away from you," I say. "You walked away from me this morning." His face scrunches inward, shame, regret, confusion all tangled together like fishing line no one bothered to untie. "I know," he whispers. "I know I messed up. I know I was awful. But I apologized. I really did." "No," I reply gently. "You cried. But you didn't understand. He freezes. Because there is a difference between regret and remorse. Regret is about him. Remorse is about me. And right now, he only regrets being caught. He steps closer. Grandma, what do you want me to say? Nothing, I answer. Words are cheap. His throat bobs as he swallows. I walk into the kitchen. The same kitchen from the photo, the same apron still draped over the chair, the same pan sitting on the stove with a bit of egg stuck to the bottom. A battlefield of tenderness turned into a joke. He stands in the doorway, afraid to enter, like the kitchen is holy ground he doesn't deserve to step on. Good. Let him feel that. I turn around slowly. Sit down, I tell him. He obeys immediately, lowering himself into the chair like a child sent for time out. I take the broken plate from the sink, the one he shattered onto the floor just hours ago, and set the pieces on the table in front of him. His eyes widen. Grandma, why? You broke this, I say. Tell me why. He stares at the fragments, jaw trembling. I was frustrated. No. He lifts his eyes, unsure. I tilt my head slightly. You broke this because you forgot who I am. His breath catches in his throat. I place one piece of the plate into his hand. What do you see? A piece of a dish, he murmurs. Look again. He hesitates, confused. I don't understand. That, I say quietly, is a piece of your respect. His grip tightens around the shard. He sucks in a shaky breath. Grandma, I'm trying to fix it. But you can't fix it, I reply. Not with words, not with tears, and certainly not with excuses. His shoulders collapse inward. So what do I do? He whispers. For a moment, I study him, really study him. The boy who once stood on a stool beside me to mix cookie dough. The boy who ran barefoot across the lawn, chasing fireflies I caught in jars. The boy who used to hug me without thinking. The boy who somehow grew up into a man who weaponizes humiliation like it's currency. I take a deep breath. You're going to learn, I say. We're going to rebuild your character the same way we rebuild a broken plate. He looks at the shards again. But plates don't go back together, he says, voice small. Exactly. The silence cracks between us. He looks at me, eyes filling again, not with tears this time, but with realization. The kind that burns. Grandma, he whispers. I swear I'll be better. I shake my head. You'll be different. Better implies you're the same person with improvements. I want you to be someone new. He nods slowly, defeated. What do I need to do? First, I say, you're going to clean your mistake. He looks at me, startled. I cleaned the floor already. Not that mistake. I walk to the drawer, take out my old tablet. Dusty, outdated, slow, but still functional. I place it in front of him. Open the group chat. His face goes pale. Grandma, please. They're idiots. They don't matter. They just joke about everything. It doesn't mean. Open the chat. He reluctantly picks up the phone, hands trembling, screen glowing. The chat is still open from earlier. The image, the comments, the emojis, the digital cruelty disguised as banter. He wipes his face with his sleeve. What do you want me to do? Delete the picture. He taps the screen. Deleted. Now delete every message you sent making fun of me. He scrolls, he deletes point one by one, each deletion like cutting off a rotten limb. It takes a long time. Now, I say quietly, apologize in the chat. He stiffens like I just handed him a live grenade. What? Grandma, no. They'll clown me for months. They'll never let me live it down. And yet, I reply, you were perfectly fine letting them clown me. His eyes drop. He types slowly, painfully, deliberately. I shouldn't have posted that picture of my grandma. It was disrespectful. I was showing off like an idiot. I'm sorry. His thumb hovers over send. He swallows. Then presses it. Almost immediately, replies appear. Bro, did your grandma hack your phone? No way you typed this on purpose. Man got lectured. Tell Granny we sorry too. He winces. His friends aren't evil, just immature. But his humiliation right now. He earned it. He looks up at me. Is that enough? He asks softly. Not even close. His face falls. We're done with the phone, I say. Now comes the part you've forgotten how to do. What part? The human part. I walk to the sink, fill a pot with water, and place it on the stove. He watches, confused. Are you cooking something? No, I say. You are. His eyebrows knit together. What? You're going to make me breakfast. He blinks. Grandma, I can't. You're 22, I say. If you can operate a smartphone and humiliate someone you love, you can fry an egg. He looks at the stove like it's a wild animal he's never encountered. Start with washing your hands, I instruct. He does. Poorly. Use soap, I add. He stares at the bar of soap like it's a puzzle, then scrubs again. Good. Now the eggs. He takes one, holds it awkwardly. No, I correct. Not like you're holding a grenade. Gently. He adjusts. Now crack it. He taps it on the counter. Too hard. The egg explodes in his hand, dripping between his fingers. He freezes. I don't say anything. He sighs and goes for another one. This time, he cracks it too softly. The shell crumbles into the pan. Oh, come on, he mutters, flustered. I watch him struggle, scrambling, pun intended, to scoop out shell pieces with a spoon. Cooking is hard, he says defensively. No, I reply. Respect is hard. Cooking is easy. His eyes flick toward me, full of something that looks like shame mixed with awakening. He finally manages to create a somewhat edible-looking egg. Burnt on the edges. Undercooked in the middle. But it exists. He plates it like it's a Michelin star dish. He brings it to me with two hands, as if offering a peace treaty. I take a bite. It tastes terrible. But I eat it anyway. The moment I swallow, he watches me with wide eyes. How is it? I nod thoughtfully. It tastes like effort. He exhales, shoulders dropping, expression softening, heart cracking open. And for the first time in hours, I see my grandson again. Not the cruel boy from the group chat. Not the entitled man from this morning. Not the insecure young adult pretending to be invincible. But the child who once made me mud pies and insisted they were gourmet. He steps closer. Grandma, he says quietly, I don't want to be the kind of person who hurts you. Then don't. He looks down. I don't know why I acted that way. I do, I answer. Because you forgot who raised you. His face breaks. He kneels beside me, not dramatically, not theatrically, but naturally, like gravity pulled him there. He rests his head lightly against my knee. Please don't give up on me. I place my hand on his hair, gently smoothing it. I'm not giving up, I say. I'm teaching you. He nods slowly. A long silence settles between us. Not heavy, not painful, but healing. He lifts his head. What happens now? I smile faintly. Now, I say, we begin the real lesson. He looks confused. Which is? I lean in close, voice soft but sharp. You're going to learn what it feels like to earn back respect, one action at a time. His chest rises, nervous. How do I do that? I stand. Turn toward the hallway. Tomorrow, I say, you'll find out. Tomorrow, he echoes. Yes. I open my bedroom door. Because revenge, I add, is always served in courses. And I close the door, leaving him standing in the kitchen, alone, afraid. And finally, Ready. Morning sunlight slips through my curtains like warm fingers tapping my shoulder. The house is quiet, so quiet I can hear the refrigerator humming and the soft tick-tick of the clock on the hallway wall. I rise slowly, my joints protesting, but my mind sharp. Today is the day. Not revenge in the cruel sense. Not punishment for punishment's sake. But the kind of revenge that teaches, shapes, corrects. The kind of revenge that saves someone from themselves. I open my bedroom door and step into the hallway. He's already awake. I find him sitting at the dining table, elbows on his knees, eyes staring at the ground like it holds all the answers he never bothered to look for. He hears my footsteps and stands instantly. "Good morning, Grandma," he says, voice tentative. I nod. "Good morning." He looks like he didn't sleep. Dark circles under his eyes. Shoulders slumped. Nervous energy radiating off him like static. Good. Reflection begins with discomfort. "Did you eat breakfast?" I ask. "No," he says quickly. "I wanted to wait for you." Good. I walk to the kitchen, he follows. "Sit," I tell him. He does. I slowly take out the mixing bowl, flour, sugar, butter, eggs. He watches me carefully, unsure what role he's supposed to play. I begin mixing batter for pancakes. My Saturday tradition, the one he knows better than anyone. He shifts in the chair. "Grandma, are you still mad?" I keep stirring. "No." His eyes widen slightly. "But I'm not finished." He tenses again. I set the bowl down and meet his eyes. "Tell me," I say, "what were you thinking when you took that picture of me?" He opens his mouth, hesitates. I wasn't thinking." "No," I correct. "You were thinking something." "What was it?" He fidgets with the sleeve of his hoodie. I thought it would make them laugh." "And why did you want them to laugh?" He swallows. Because they always joke about their families, and I guess I wanted to fit in." "There it is," I say softly. He looks confused. "You wanted to belong," I explain. "You wanted approval. So you sacrificed respect to get it." He winces. I take a slow breath. "When you were little," I say, "you used to brag about me. Remember?" He nods, eyes flickering. "You used to tell kids at school that your grandma made the best pancakes, and that I could fix any toy, and that I hugged the best." A small, painful smile pulls at his mouth. "You used to be proud of me," I say. "I still am," he blurts. "I swear, Grandma, I really am. I don't know what's wrong with me." "There's nothing wrong with you," I reply. "You're just lost." He drops his head. "And the people you're trying to impress," I continue, "aren't exactly guiding you back." He looks up slowly. "So, what happens now?" I smile faintly. "Now comes the mirror." He blinks. "Mirror. Yes. Today, you're going to see yourself clearly." He shifts. Wary. I gesture for him to follow me into the living room. On the coffee table sits a stack of photo albums, the old-fashioned kind, heavy and thick, filled with moments glued and handwritten long before phones took over the world. He lowers himself onto the couch. I open the first album. A picture of him as a toddler appears. Chubby cheeks, tiny overalls, curls bouncing as he laughs. His face softens. "Wow. I haven't seen that one in years." "You were 3, I say. Your mother dropped you off because she had an early shift. You insisted on wearing those overalls, even though they were 2 sizes too big." He chuckles. "I remember those," he whispers. I flip the page. Him at age 6, missing front teeth, hugging the stuffed dinosaur I bought at the flea market. Another page. Age 9, holding the trophy from his first soccer tournament. Age 12, flour dusted across his nose after trying to bake cookies by himself. He smiles at the memories. Real smiles, warm ones. But then I turn another page. Age 15. Age 16. I watch his face change. These photos look different. He's older. Colder. A distance in his eyes, a hardness in his jaw. The boy is fading, and the man growing in his place looks like someone he doesn't recognize. Or maybe someone he doesn't like. I point to a picture of him at 17, arms crossed, eyes bored, standing in front of a Christmas tree. You stopped smiling, I say. Do you remember why? He stares at the picture for a long moment. I think I started caring too much about what people thought, he whispers. Yes, I say softly. You built yourself around opinions instead of values. He presses his palms into his eyes, overwhelmed. I gently close the album. Listen to me, I say. Sometimes life pulls you away from the person you were meant to be. But it's your job to walk yourself back. He lets out a shaky breath. How? He whispers. I stand. Come. He follows me into the kitchen again. I hand him a sponge and a bucket of warm soapy water. He frowns. Am I cleaning something? Yes. What? The pantry. He blinks. The pantry. Yes, I say calmly. Every shelf. Every jar. Every corner. He stares at me like I've just spoken in a foreign language. Why? He asks. Because, I say, respect grows from responsibility. He looks at the sponge, defeated. All of it. All of it. He sighs but obeys. He opens the pantry door and freezes. It's cluttered, dusty in places, filled with jars and boxes from years of meals and seasons. Grandma, this is going to take hours. Yes, I say. And so will rebuilding your character. He doesn't argue. Not this time. He rolls up his sleeves and starts. For the first few minutes, he works silently. Then he groans when he encounters a sticky spill from some long-ago jar of honey. Then he gags dramatically at a forgotten onion sprout trying to escape the basket. I hide a smile. He scrubs, wipes, sorts, dusts, organizes. After half an hour, he's sweating. After an hour, he's sighing, but not angrily this time. Thoughtfully. After 90 minutes, he pauses and looks back at me. Grandma, he says softly, I never realized how much work you do. Yes, I reply. Because you never looked. He stares at the sponge in his hand. I should have helped more. You still can. He nods, swallowing hard. He finishes the pantry at last. Shelves gleaming, jars lined neatly like soldiers. He steps back, hands on his hips. Wow, he murmurs. It actually looks good. It looks like effort, I say. He smiles faintly. I place a hand on his shoulder. That, I say, was lesson 1. He raises an eyebrow. Lesson 1? How many lessons are there? As many as it takes. He nods slowly. What's lesson 2? I hand him my car keys. His eyes widen. Oh, the fear in his face. Priceless. Grandma, what are we doing? We, I say, are going shopping. Shopping. Yes. You're going to restock everything you threw away last night when you had your little tantrum. His face reddens. Grandma, I didn't throw that much away. No, I reply gently. Just my dignity. He goes quiet. And dignity, I add, requires replacement. He nods. Ashamed. Okay, he murmurs. I'll do it. We walk to the car. He opens the door for me without thinking. Good sign. We drive to the grocery store. He grabs a cart. We walk down the aisles. I point. He collects. Eggs. Bread. Butter. Vegetable oil. Milk. Flour. Seasonings. Fresh produce. All things he's never had to think about. Real life things. Grown-up things. Responsible things. At checkout, he pulls out his card. I'll pay, he says, voice steady. I nod approvingly. The cashier smiles knowingly at his awkward seriousness. He loads everything into the card. He drives carefully. He unloads without being told. He puts everything in its place. When he finishes, He turns to me. How am I doing so far? I look at him, really look. He's tired, sweaty, embarrassed, but earnest. Better, I say. His shoulders relax with relief. But not done. He looks startled. There's more. Yes, I say. He gulps. What's next? I smile, small but meaningful. Tonight, I say, you're going to do something far harder than cleaning. His brow furrows. What? You're going to sit with yourself. He frowns. I don't get it. I know, I say. That's why you're going to do it. He's silent. I continue. You're going to take a notebook. You're going to write down 3 things you did this year that you're not proud of. And you're going to think about who you hurt, and how you can make it right. He looks terrified. Far more terrified than he was at the pantry or the grocery store. 3 things, he whispers. Yes. And what if I don't want to remember them? That, I say, is exactly why you have to. He swallows hard. And after that, I say, you're going to apologize to the person you need to apologize to the most. His eyes widen. Who? I hold his gaze. You already know. His breath catches. He does know. He just didn't want to say it. He nods slowly. I'll do it, he whispers. I walk past him toward my bedroom. And tomorrow, I say softly, comes the final lesson. He stands in the hallway, frozen, gripping the notebook like a lifeline. Behind him, the house feels different. Not lighter yet, but shifting, healing, preparing for something bigger. Tomorrow, he learns the truth. About respect. About love. About consequences. About me. And about himself. You won't believe how everything came crashing together the moment I finally stopped hiding and started pulling every thread tight enough to choke the people who once laughed at the idea that a 61-year-old woman could fight back. Because the truth is, they never feared me. Not until now. Not until they realized what a quiet woman can do when every wound she carries becomes fuel. And you'll feel it too, the moment you hear what happened after that explosive confrontation in my ex-husband's living room. When every secret I'd buried finally burst to the surface. Because you'd think the story ends when the truth comes out, right? But no. That was only the moment the real fire started burning. The moment everyone finally understood that the woman they thought was weak, exhausted, broken, and too old to fight, was the most dangerous one in the room. So let me tell you what happened when my ex-husband stood there, pale and speechless, after learning the son he bragged about abandoning actually wasn't gone. When he realized the baby I carried alone, the baby he never came looking for, the baby he thought I was too old to raise, had survived. And not only survived, but had been protected from him. His mouth opened and closed like he was choking on truth. Then he muttered, "You hid him from me. You're sick." And that's when I laughed, full, sharp, and cold enough to freeze his spine. Because dare he call me sick after throwing me out like trash? After humiliating me the moment he thought my value had expired? After replacing me with a woman barely older than our daughter? His girlfriend, no, his replacement, stood behind him, trembling like a leaf in a thunderstorm. I could see fear crawling up her throat. Maybe she remembered the way he treated me. Maybe she finally understood she'd be next. And I leaned closer and whispered, "Don't worry, sweetheart. He'll get to you too. Once you're no longer shiny." Her face crumpled. But me. I was calm. Dead calm. Because I'd already built my revenge piece by piece. And now it was time to reveal the final stroke. But before I could even take another breath, the front door burst open. And in walked the last person my ex ever expected to face. My son. The baby I raised alone. The child I fed from my own heartbreak. The boy I carried through storms no one else saw. He was almost grown now, strong, tall, with my eyes and a calm fury simmering beneath his expression. He'd insisted on coming with me that day, even though I told him this was my battle. But he said, "Mom, I want to see the man who thought I wasn't worth staying for." And there he was, standing face to face with the man who abandoned him before he even existed. My ex-husband staggered back like he'd been punched by a ghost. His hands shook. His voice cracked. That's my son." My son looked at him with the kind of stare that can slice a soul open. "No," he said quietly. "I'm her son. You're just a man who didn't want to be a father." My ex's girlfriend gasped like the air had been sucked out of the room. But my ex. He tried to regain control. He always tries to regain control. Men like him think control is their birthright. He clenched his jaw and barked. "You had no right to keep him from me." "I could've." "You could've what?" I cut in. "Come back. Help. Support. Love. Which one? Pick one, because you didn't do any of them." He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. And that silence was everything. But revenge, real revenge, doesn't end with silence. No. Real revenge ends with consequences. And I brought mine wrapped in truth he couldn't escape. Because the night before, while preparing for this confrontation, I had uncovered something. Something massive. Something that turned this whole story into a ticking bomb. Remember when I said I walked away after the divorce with nothing but my clothes, my faith, and a secret growing inside me? Well, it turns out my ex-husband took more than my dignity that day. He had been funneling money from our joint business account, money that legally belonged to both of us, into a separate hidden account in his name only. 4 years. While I struggled to raise our son alone. While he reinvented his life like I never existed. But the universe has a funny way of putting things in your path exactly when you're finally ready to wield them. Because a week earlier, out of nowhere, a former employee from our old business reached out to me. She remembered how badly he treated me. And she told me she'd held on to old financial records that could expose him completely. I took those documents straight to a lawyer. And the lawyer smiled and said words I'll never forget. "He owes you everything he took. With interest." So imagine the delicious weight of that silence in the room when I finally pulled the envelope from my purse and tossed it onto the coffee table. He froze. She froze. My son stared. "Go on," I said. "Open it." He reached for it like it might bite him. And in a way, it did. Because inside were legal papers proving that he would now owe me, and by extension, the son he abandoned, a 6-figure settlement. Not optional. Not avoidable. Not negotiable. He flipped through the papers. His face strained. You're suing me?" "No," I said, stepping closer. "I already did. And I won." His girlfriend's hand flew to her mouth. She whispered, "You lied to me. You said your divorce was clean. You said she took everything." He spun toward her. "She's lying." But my son stepped forward. "We're not lying. You just finally ran out of places to hide." My ex's voice cracked as he yelled, "You can't ruin my life." "Oh, honey," I whispered, stepping so close he could feel my breath on his cheek. "I didn't ruin your life. You did." And that's when everything broke. His girlfriend grabbed her purse and walked toward the door, shaking. "I'm not staying with a man who abandons his family and lies about it," she snapped. "Good luck." He tried to stop her, but she shoved past him and slammed the door so hard the walls rattled. And then we were alone. Me. My son. And the man who once felt powerful enough to throw me away. Except now. He was the one crumbling. He sank onto the couch, head in his hands. "Why didn't you tell me?" he whispered. And I told him the truth. The whole truth. A truth I'd kept buried for years. I didn't tell him because I knew he would have tried to take my baby. Not out of love. Not out of responsibility. But out of ego. Out of control. Out of spite. I didn't tell him because I needed to protect my son from becoming another piece on his chessboard. I didn't tell him because sometimes silence is the only shield a woman has left when the world strips her bare. And as I spoke, I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't shaking. I wasn't bitter. I was powerful. Finally. He looked up at me with the eyes of a man who finally understands the cost of his cruelty. You destroyed me, he whispered. No, I said softly. You destroyed yourself. I just stopped covering the damage. We left him there, broken and alone, surrounded by papers that proved he wasn't untouchable after all. And as we walked out into the sunlight, my son slipped his hand into mine. Mom, he said, you didn't just protect me. You saved me. And in that moment, everything was worth it. Because revenge isn't always fire. Sometimes, revenge is peace. Sometimes revenge is walking away with everything they said you'd never have. Sometimes revenge is being the woman they thought was finished, and proving you were only getting started. And if you've ever been underestimated, if you've ever been silenced, if you've ever been abandoned and forced to rebuild yourself from dust, then hear me clearly. You're not too old. You're not too weak. You're not too late. You are the threat they never see coming. Now tell me, where are you joining us from, and what time is it where you are?